Since March, wearing gloves and disinfecting my doorknobs with the news in the background has become a new ritual, and maintaining strict social distance has become an obsession.
New Yorkers, cover your nose and mouth to prevent the spread of coronavirus. If you need to go outside to run essential errands, always wear a face covering to protect others. Remember, you can be contagious before showing symptoms. Make a face covering at home. Use a cloth, bandana, or scarf. Wash daily and dry completely. And save medical grade masks for our healthcare workers.
Since the pandemic began, an ambulance is stationed outside my home throughout the day. A sad reminder that yesterday, approximately 15,888 individuals were confirmed to have died from COVID-19 in New York City. Today, May 17, with the help of a marker, a scissor, and an old t-shirt, I decided to make my own face mask. Ironically, on the day I first used my mask, I opened an Amazon package containing the surgical masks that I had ordered a while back. My search for a mask began in early March. I went to all my neighborhood pharmacies and grocery stores to no avail. On March 27, I finally ordered 50 surgical masks on Amazon at a price of $25, a price 60% more expensive than before COVID-19. I was supposed to receive them within a week, but it would be 40 days before I got them. I wasn't worried about not having a mask because there were conflicting accounts in the media, from the politicians and from the health organizations about the efficacy of masks. There was also a shortage of masks for frontline workers and the sick, so I began to wonder if we were being discouraged from buying masks because of the shortage. It was not clear until recently that masks actually help to prevent transmission of the virus, particularly because people can be infected before they show symptoms or be asymptomatic. Today, thanks to the masks, I broke quarantine for the first time in over 7 weeks to take a stroll on my block. For added protection, I wore sunglasses and took my umbrella. I resisted the urge to say hi to my neighbors and heroes who spent countless hours sitting in the New York Presbyterian Hospital ambulance that has found a permanent home in my neighborhood. 6 days ago, Governor Cuomo extended the shelter-in-place orders from May 15 to June 13. Fortunately, I have the sky, the trees, the Queensboro Bridge, an ambulance, a tramway, and the cyclists and skateboarders to keep me company. 104 days since I've been socially distancing, 31 days since the murder of George Floyd, and 28 days since the start of the protests caused by his death. From the fire escape of my second-floor apartment on the east side of Manhattan, I have seen an inverted flag slowly rising, as well as 200 peaceful protesters marching down my street for the victims of police brutality and racial injustice. The New York Presbyterian ambulance parked night and day in front of my apartment is a constant reminder of the new reality we are surviving. As of yesterday, approximately 18,618 individuals are confirmed to have died from COVID-19 in New York City. My life continues to revolve around the comings and goings of these first responders, who operate from the parking spot outside my window. They sit in the ambulance for hours at a time, eat their meals, make their calls, and wait for the next rescue. This ambulance and the paramedics are already part of my landscape. The alarming noise of the sirens are part of my daily life. I even dream of the sound and lights of the sirens. I have learned to think that the sounds of the ambulance really mean that someone is being rescued and not that someone is dying. On a recent afternoon, I witnessed the paramedics of Ambulance 1847 rescuing one of the residents of my neighborhood. I had long been wondering when their work would hit so close to home. The first responders are part of a broad group of essential workers for which I am grateful, like the postmen and the UPS deliverymen. If not for them, I would not have been able to cast my vote without needlessly exposing myself and others to COVID-19. It has been almost a month since George Floyd was brutally murdered by a cop during a routine arrest, which led to mass global protests in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. To date, the toughest part for me of being on lockdown has been the inability to go to the protests. I am, after all, a middle-aged Latina, and from all indicators, part of one of the most vulnerable groups. Not protesting was especially hard for me because I've been following and participating in the fight against racism in one way or another for over 15 years. So it seemed like a gift to me that on a day that I was feeling particularly sad about not doing my part in the protesting, that the protesters came to me. I was able to support them from my fire escape. Inspired and motivated by them, on June 22nd, 2020, I broke quarantine for the second time in 104 days, this time to cast my vote. For the first time in my voting history, I cast an official absentee ballot. It was so easy. I don't understand why politicians are casting doubt and engendering fear about us voting in this way. I am grateful that I live in a state where my governor created a safe environment for me to exercise my right to vote in these important times, while at the same time keeping me safe and healthy. The emergencies will never stop. The sirens will keep blaring in our New York City streets, clearing the way to fight fires, to save lives, and to remind us all that we are not alone, that somebody is coming to help us. While the response to the pandemic was reason enough for me to vote with urgency this year, seeing and hearing the cries of the multitudes of individuals from all ethnicities and walks of life during the month of protest made it critical for me to vote. Singing Bob Dylan's Knocking on Heaven's Door, the masked protesters peacefully disappeared from my view, leaving me full of admiration, inspiration, and hope.